Over the last couple of years of Airsoft, and now being just a participating member of the community, I've seen a shift in how the Airsoft player base generally views the playability mechanics within Airsoft specifically. And what do I mean by that? I would say a couple of years ago, we certainly went into a direction that was more milsim, a little more take your time, be a little more tactical, and be more into capturing objectives. Well, now we're definitely in a direction where speed is king. And looking at some of the options that are currently on the market, less so options that have just or are soon to come out, what are some options that maybe some older players might have that are still usable, that might keep up with the current generation? Well, I think a very good option might be something such as the KWA KMP9, the king of speed. Well, explore this as an option today. Why don't we?
So here comes part of the conversation that is going to be a little bit more boring, but I believe is something that needs to get talked about. And what makes the KMP9 a little bit more different compared to maybe other gas blowback variants or even AEG-powered SMGs that are available on the market? Well, I'm going to stand by the fact that the KWA KMP9 is going to be one of the few options on the Airsoft market that is going to work the best as both a primary and secondary platform. And here's going to be a couple of examples. So let's say you want to just go to an indoor facility and you just want to bum around with a couple of friends. How easy is it for you to carry a selection of magazines on your person? And this isn't even all the magazines that I currently have for the KMP9. But I currently have the 4 on me and the 1 in the gun. A very, very small footprint when it comes to both traveling logistically, having a pretty small package, as we all are familiar with, guys, and having the support in order to run that system. And you're probably already thinking, hey, there are other small compact options on the market for SMGs that will give me a little bit bigger of a package. You know, maybe an MPX, an MP5, a Scorpion Evo of that nature. And yes, those are phenomenal options and phenomenal examples. However, if we're talking about something that's going to remain as light as possible and something that's going to offer the smallest amount of footprint for travel, the KMP9, MP7 is one that comes to mind, or maybe other pistol caliber carbines. An MP5K I think would probably be the largest size of a SMG that would have a small footprint. And in the case of not only travel but also for usage, something like this, which is honestly a little bit larger than a pistol, holds and maneuvers one hand very easily compared to something such as a Chris Vector one-handed is this much more weight away from my hand. So it is a little bit more unwieldy and a little bit more unfamiliar as an option. And you're probably thinking, go with something that might be made of a lighter weight, such as even this MP5. Let's take that lock suppressor off. And this is indeed lighter compared to the Vector, but it is still a lot more weight that's coming away from my hand. So something like the MP5K, the MP7, and ultimately the KMP9 is going to be one of the better options for small compact package that travels easily, that you can use as a primary system. Now, as a secondary, let's talk about that. As a secondary system, there are options within the airsoft game community where you have to have a trustworthy secondary within a certain distance. So LMG or even DMRs / bolt action riflemen have a minimum engagement distance of around 100 to 150 feet because that's a very high volume of BBs, or it's a very high velocity rifle system. So for safety's sake and to not tick too many people off, most event coordinators are requiring a minimum engagement. So if you are a squad automatic weapon / LMG gunner and you're just hanging out of a window and some poor schmuck just walks in front of you, right down the road, right in front of your window, but he's within 100 feet, he kind of deserves it, but you don't want to be a dick. So instead of pulling out your pistol that is very, very small, very compact, that may not have the accuracy at around 100 feet to deliver a BB hit or two, you might want something that might be a little more consistent, a little more accurate, like the KMP9 that we have demonstrated here. While other options that even the ones that I have here, will provide a little more accuracy and consistency, this is going to travel way easier with a heavier loadout such as LMG, or have a smaller footprint for sniper rifles and DMR players. There are holster options for this one in particular to either cling onto the back of your person, on your side, or even into a throw over pouch for you to either undo and hit someone like so, or sling your sniper rifle and then pull out the KMP9. We're going to go back to the fact that I said that this is going to be one of the fastest options immediately out of the box. There are similar gas blowback options that are going to give you just as much speed. As we have seen with the KW Vector gas blowback, it doesn't deliver that much speed. AEG SMGs, there are options out of the box that are very similar to speed. Reminder, this is out of the box 20 to 25 rounds per second. Very, very, very fast. The MP5 that I have here is around 10 rounds per second, half of that speed. You could modify the internals here to get very close to 25, even up to 30 rounds per second and still retain it as a AEG. If we were to do what is called an HPA conversion, where we remove the electronic components and replace them with a high pressured air, essentially an air hose tank that you have on your person, you could get closer to 40 or 50 rounds per second, almost doubling what the KMP9 is going to be capable of. However, we're going to run into now another set of issues and another set of issues as to the performance and usability to that system specifically. So we're going to shelf that for right now. So out of the box with as little external stuff as possible, KMP9, one of the better options. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start here at 25 feet. And I actually have a power-up mock suppressor for the KMP9 here. So here at 25 feet, where we can a little more easily discern the differences in groupings, I'll shoot at the top of our cardboard target once it's stopped moving, and then I'll attach the suppressor, and then we'll shoot the bottom half. I also am going to run a zoom camera or a run cam here, just so we can get a unique POV of where the BBs might be going. All right, there I see the wind snapping. Gonna have to swag it. Woo. All right, now simply attach that bottom half here. All right, let's go check that grouping out.
So we have the KMP9, which is, here's a little weird thing. So I think now you guys can see it. We've got our grouping here without 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's a little weird because There's not enough like impact in order to create like a good hole like this one. These are like a little different, but these with the power-up kit have enough punch that they create a good sized hole, and it's very obvious to us. Very interesting. I think that the power-up accuracy or consistency is much better than that of the one without. But here at 25 feet, you know, it's close enough that I don't feel too bad about it. That's a pretty tight grouping for 25 feet.
And here's what I'm going to need to do. I'm going to need to, one, remove this, two, put this on the side. Now it's gonna look really, really weird, but I believe in my editing prowess. So the run cam is currently going. I need my hat. The sun is too much. All right, here we go. Oh, I just missed the right-hand side of the paper. I really hope the run camera can see that.
Okay, so I know exactly where the BBs were going. So we've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5 just barely missed the paper right here. So overall, 50 feet, not too bad. I actually feel pretty confident that even with that short of a barrel system, we did it on the Vector. Let's kick this one back.
And here I'm actually going to swap over to a hot, fresh mag. We still got a BB in there. I'm going to drop this in here. So our run cam is going. Try to get a good wide base here and just try to follow the BBs in. A hit, miss. 2. So that's number 3, excuse me. 4, 5. That was 5 total hits. I don't feel too bad about that. I'm gonna run and quick mark those, and then I'm actually gonna put the mock suppressor on, see if maybe those are a little more accurate. I felt pretty good about those.
All right. So it's actually just shooting them fast enough to get the BBs stuck inside of the cardboard. So that's 1, 2, and I'm actually gonna circle this group right here. 3, you can kind of see there's a BB stuck in there. And that was it. I'm gonna circle this group. I'm gonna circle off the edge here. Circle that group. So we had 1, 2, 3. I think I saw one go off to the left here, and I think the other one might have dropped here. But, I don't feel too good about that. At 100 feet though, for as short of a barrel as that is, not too bad. We're gonna put that mock suppressor back on.
The slap of the mags is real bad. Miss. Two out of 5. Interesting. I'm going to shoot up to the side here really quick. Okay, a little bit of inconsistencies. All right, let's go check it out.
We actually hit the center of the cardboard. And we've got another BB stuck in there. But in total, 2 out of 5 versus 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5's winning it every day of the week over 2 out of 5. So that's that.
And listen, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Talon, you said that this was going to be the fastest gun in the world. And that is true. I did say that. And we just did an accuracy test, and it doesn't even seem to be that accurate, and you're shooting on semi. So what makes you think that it's going to be the fastest gun in the world, and this is going to keep up with a lot of the Speedboy things? Hold on. Check this out. Pretty sick, isn't it? So here's the deal. With this type of firepower, let's say that I might be some type of engineer guy, right? I might be some guy that might be somewhere in a truck that has to do just driver type stuff, and we're at some type of event that allows SMG runners to do full auto, as that classification specifically is allowed to do. So let's say I'm a driver and I need something small, compact, that can sit either on my chest or on my thigh, or even in a compartment in and around my vehicle. You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna probably pick this up. It's gonna hold more ammunition compared to that of a pistol. It is just a little more accurate and consistent at a little bit more distance compared to a pistol. It's not that much larger, and I can already do this with one hand. So here's the scenario, right? I get out, I'm gonna do something. Oh, I see bad guys there. Take cover, remove that magazine, strip it out, get that back in, get the bolt release. Back into my pouch, do whatever I need to get right here. Bam. Now once I get into here, your thought is already probably, dude, it's over. You've got stock on that thing. There's no way you're gonna do it. Guess what? You fold that son of a bitch in, and now you've got still full superiority. Now even with that all folded in, I still have access to that magazine release, which is down by already on the grip where my trigger finger is. So I hit that exactly where a pistol is going to be, either re-index my magazine, or I put it into the passenger seat, dump it, and then I'm still back up and I'm still good to go. So this is like an ideal engineer slash driver type of SMG, where it's just absolute grip. It's small and compact and can get into spots. So from here, either refill my magazine, pop it up on the dash, and I'm good to go. Now, if up on the dash isn't really your forte, of course you can put it down into that seat next to you. You can put that in the center console, seat next to you. Here on your lap, it's small and compact, you don't have to worry about it. Underneath your seat, I don't know why it'd be underneath your seat, because you're not gonna have access to it. You'd have to do a little bit of rigging, but you could get it down in between your driver's side door and your seat. Or you could also just sit up here on your chest with a little bit of a custom rig. Either coming out the door like here, or across your passenger if you've got a passenger. And then guess what? That magazine release right there. Easy enough to drop. Get that next magazine in, bolt release, and you're good either direction. One more time. Boom, boom. It's really just an oversized pistol at this point. So if I'm still indoors, I could get that stock, and if the stock is just short enough that I could do whatever I need to do while still in here. Of course, I can also cross, lean out, and do what I need to do. So if I wanted to get just right past our camera, I can still do that accurately, consistently. I can still do that accurately, consistently, and with confidence. I gotta put all these magazines back. So some of the things that I want to go over with the KMP9 with you guys while I still have your attention is some basic manual of arms that I think you should keep in mind if you're looking at picking one of these up for yourself. So going over the general construction of the rifle by itself is the fact that it is polymer. I also noticed that the very top of my mock suppressor has just come off, so that is not super cool. And I am in a bunch of tall grass and I have no idea where I might have lost it. So, awesome. Yeah, you can kind of see the top of the screw there. There's supposed to be a little plate that I'm supposed to slide backwards in order to take this off. So I'll need to do a little bit of finagling in order to figure something out for that in particular. But no mind. Just keep in mind that when I show this off, This is not going to be something that comes with it, but we might as well start with it since it is now a point of issue. Considering the fact that there's supposed to be a little switch here in order to get the suppressor to actually thread off, there's also going to be some rails on the very bottom here if you were to mount any type of flashlight. In the case of maybe me, I would put maybe my zoom camera on it. Now this one in particular is designed to be the up velocity extension. So instead of it being just a mock suppressor, it does increase the velocity. Underneath here is going to be its own proprietary screw mount interface thing. I gotta take this off. So on the underside here is going to be its own proprietary lug system. So you're not able to put any type of tracer unit or other mock suppressor system. It does have a little bit of a baffle here. So it does make the system a little bit louder than it potentially should. As long as there's gas in there, right? A little bit louder. With this model in particular, this is the KMP9, not to be confused with the KMP9R, the R standing for the railed designation of this system in particular. They do have the option of the KMP9R if you were to put maybe a different type of grip here, or maybe you don't even like putting vert grips, you maybe just want to do a C-clamp with your flashlight on the underside here. You do have the option of a rail system on the right hand side of the body, supposedly for flashlights. At least that's where I would put a flashlight. You saw me put my zoom camera there, but I think I'd need to put it here and then some type of raised T1 option. I'm thinking some of the PTS Unity stuff, but we'll add to it in a little bit. There are going to be some integrated iron sights, and these are certainly not bad iron sights. I have seen worse iron sights. They certainly get the job done. There's no adjustability, there's no option for distances. You're kind of stuck at what it is, but that's not to say that it's not bad in any regard. It just suggests that you're going to need to get a different option sooner rather than later if you do want adjustability. Going along the body here, the mag wheel is actually the grip itself. Sometimes we'll see with traditional replicas that the grip would sit a little bit further behind the magazine well. In the case of the KMP9, that grip is actually the mag wheel right there. So very similar to something that maybe more movies, firearm, rap videos would call a Draco or a GAT. This is not a Draco, this is a KMP9. Get with it. This is, just like with the Vector that we had discussed a little bit earlier, this is going to be a right-handed man's weapon. In the case of the bolt release, it is simply this large switch right here. So pull that bolt back, your bolt release on an empty bolt or an empty round. Yeah, I might as well just demonstrate. So, no round, it's going to hold backwards, that bolt is back. So it is going to be a closed bolt design, and this is actually the CQB bolt. But on the left hand side here, if we were to press downwards, that bolt is going to ride forward, slam home, and we get a single shot before we have to hit that again. Where we typically would see our safeties right here behind the trigger is actually our selector switch. With the single red dot protruding off to the right, that's going to be our semi-automatic option. Now if we were to push that through, there would now be a 3-dot option. Press our bolt release down, and that's going to be our full auto option. The one switch that is on the left hand side here is going to be our magazine release, as I just demonstrated. There is nothing on the other side there, nor is it reversible. Get in there. So with that in mind, you're thinking, where is the safety? Well, with this particular model, this is something that the kind of the meme of Zero Dark 30, where this is my safety, that's actually true, because that's how you work the safety on this, is that you just don't pull the trigger. You have actual trigger control. Just kidding, there is a trigger safety. If I were to grab on the side of the trigger itself, like so, not wrapping my finger all the way through, it's not going to go until I put my entire finger down, hit that trigger safety, and then we get the click of the shot. Pull the charging handle backwards, and we get the same exact thing. Now, speaking of the charging handle, I have found it a little bit more advantageous. You'll see me do the 2-finger grab, like so, and kind of force it. It is easier if you grab it with your pointer finger and your thumb. You pinch and pull backwards just like that. It's a little bit easier, but I have a bad habit of doing the 2 fingers like this. But just know that this is better, and I am acknowledging that this is better, but I still don't do it nearly as often as I do that. So do as I say, not as I do. And this, in the case of the KMP9s, do come with a folding stock. There's a button on the bottom side of the rear of the gun itself. Press that in, and that's going to release it so you can fold it up, and now you have your single position stock, which has a couple of grooves and marks there to dig into your shoulder so it doesn't move nearly as much. In the case of this one, has seen a little bit of use. This is looser than what I personally would like. There is going to be a couple of options for the KMP9s that I will be picking up as an alternative option to the one stock here. The one single sling point is that slot right there. So you put your sling there, ideally on a lanyard, hangs out there, and you've got it on a 1 position. And it really is just small and quaint enough to just be on a 1 position stock. Because it is polymer, I could hold it like that without any sort of problem. It is very light, and yet we have seen it be very accurate, very consistent, as well as be a lot of ripping fun. We have seen our cardboard target now absolutely get ripped up. It is a lot of fun. Some things that I don't like about the KMP9 in particular is going to be that single position stock, the fact that it is just here. Now, I don't personally feel bad about this stock enough to, this gun is unusable with this stock. No, it still works, it's still hyper functional, and still does a very, very good job. I have found that due to the overall size of the rifle in particular, is that I usually find the stock coming a little bit lower, and then I'm aiming over the rifle in particular, or I'm coming way down on it, and my nose is touching the back of the rifle here. Which could be good, could be bad. In the case of being fast, and I am swapping magazines a lot. I should not be swapping magazines like this. Oh, but it's just so fun to just swap magazines. In the case of this system in particular, because of that full auto action, utilizing the spray of the BBs as far as where the point of aim is, essentially, is going to be your best indicator as to where it's aiming. You could, of course, get way down on it, utilize the iron sights, but because they are just a circle and a post, it's not going to be super accurate. It doesn't lead for a lot of accuracy and consistency from the shooter to the replica itself. So, just utilizing the spray of BBs to tell you where it's going to go. Thing number 2 that I don't like about the KMP9 is the fact that there's a lot of gas that comes out of the back of the charging handle here. Now, most casual airsofters are going to wear not iPro when they're just shooting in their backyard. I like to wear iPro in most cases. But this is a system that absolutely requires you wear eye protection all of the time. If I were to do just a single quick burst without my iPro, the gas would be shooting into my eye, and I would probably go blind with the amount of gas that is coming from the back there. Is there maybe a more gas efficient option for the KMP9? Perhaps. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming that it's just some type of design flaw, something that is just more of a feature of the system that says, hey, when this action goes, you're going to have a lot of gas coming this direction at you, instead of maybe out the side here like we've seen with other gas blowbacks. Nothing wrong with that. What I absolutely love about the KMP9 is, number 1, the speed. This is going to be an ideal SMG gunner's platform if you were to run it stock as is. Even though I've done many years as an airsoft technician, do not have any desire to tech any of my own stuff. You know, I've done it for everyone else. I've spent so much time working on everyone else's stuff that I just want to go out and play and go have a good time. And this, I believe, fits the itch for that SMG role that I want to do so freaking bad. Yeah! If you have, and because I'm looking to use it as an SMG role, if you have a KMP9, let me know what you have done to it or some of the things that you suggest doing to it, because I'm still relatively new and I haven't decided to go any direction just yet. So I'm still very fresh to the KMP9 game. Now, one of the things I'm not going to show on this video specifically on YouTube is going to be the disassembly and cleaning process for the KMP9. It's still a relatively newer system for me personally, so I'm going to take the time to demonstrate how to take that apart, not only for my own experience, but for maybe yours. But that section of the clip is going to be in my PhyxTV account. So that's going to be down in the description below. You can log in and sign in for a PhyxTV membership. It's pretty much a mixture of both Netflix and Patreon, where you're going to subscribe to one person, but you're still going to get access to everyone else's that's going to post on that PhyxTV app. And that information is down in the description below. So if you need to figure out the disassembly of that in high definition, it's going to be available on our PhyxTV system. So go check that out. Some final thoughts of the KMP9 right before the end of the video, because I'm going to spend a couple minutes getting some more B-roll clips for you guys of me shooting it, but it is an absolute fire hose, so I need to continue to reload it and still continue to feed the spray of BBs that is just coming out of the mouth of this thing. I think that this is going to be a very, very, very fun system. As of right now, the rifle is shooting around 280 feet per second. So it's not fast in any regard as far as velocity. However, I think that it's going to keep up very, very, very well for what it is that I like to do. And I think it's going to be a very fun challenge for me to have. Now, I will be looking into a bunch of different barrel options because, one, I love to have tracer units to mount onto all my airsoft replicas because, one, it just makes indoors go that much easier gameplay wise, and two, it allows you as the viewer to see where the BB flight path is going and is not reliant on me sitting there and putting hit markers on everything. You can follow along in the action as well, and that's why I like tracer units. But pretty much that all being said, I'm going to do some more research into different rules and regulations for SMG roles for events. We don't have a whole lot of people in my group that are doing SMG role, so I think it'd be a lot of fun. It would definitely push me to be into a position that I'm definitely not familiar with, considering the fact that I don't typically go the SMG route. But it is really neither here nor there. Essentially the TLDR is I'm going to be getting some gameplay with it very, 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 very soon, and I'm very excited to get gameplay of this in particular. As of right now, from what I have seen, the KMP9 is not hard to get from a consumer standpoint. They have been out for many, many years, and like I was saying, there is still more options available for aftermarket parts compared to the Vector or the MP7 or other gas blowbacks, SMGs that have been out for a number of years as well. So the fact that I could build something that is, number one, very cool and fits the vibe, I am very excited about. And I can make it a relatively unique and individual build compared to something that would be considered like an out-of-the-box system. I am already not a fan of the reloading process, considering the fact that I forgot a speed loader. I remembered all of my other camera stuff and all the other airsoft stuff I'd be using and shooting with, but I somehow forgot a freaking speed loader. If you guys do have any further questions, put them down into the comment section below. I do my very best to get to those as soon as I can and try to answer them to the best of my abilities. I am curious if you have a KMP9, what you think of it. From what I've seen over the years, it's been very 50-50, so I just want to hear what you guys have to say for yourselves. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys as of right now for like actual like content. I'm still gonna be shooting with it. I just need to get a bunch of B-roll of it shooting, because this is one that is a lot of fun to shoot. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you around. Take care.